Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a new EU4 series. While it's a new EU4 series, it's a continuation of the two Polish series that I did in Crusader Kings 2. I finally converted the last save where we became the Wendish Empire, and we've sped it up about 200 years, give or take a few, to 1444, the start date for EU4. This is going to be the opening episode of a new series. I'm really happy to be here, and I didn't think I was actually going to get here for a while. I felt like things at times were dragging on, but we got everything taken care of, and we can now start this one. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to be playing as the Wendish Empire. We're an independent kingdom. And without further ado, let's just dive in. I feel like I probably should have cracked some whiskey. We're going to be playing in Iron Man mode. I mean, just to keep things honest. And let's title this WE. See if I can see that. Keyboard's all the way over there. Okay, so here we go. So the map has changed a little bit. There's some interesting things about our country, and there's some interesting things about some other countries. We'll dive into that. Like I said, this episode will probably, while I like to keep my episodes around 20 minutes long, this one has the potential to creep up and go a little longer, as it is the opening one. So we'll read some of this stuff. Europe in 1444 is on the verge of the Age of Discovery, yet it is reeling from the shock of the failed Crusade of Varna, as well as the threat of the Ottoman Empire in the east. The Treaty of Tours has left Western Europe with an uneasy truce, one that looks like it could break at any time, due to the ambition of the kings of France, England, and the Duke of Burgundy. Oh, the Duke of Burgundy. In the north, the Kalmar Union remains in place despite the disposition of its Pomeranian king by the Hanseatic League, as well as dissident Swedish and Danish nobles. The Russian states are barely starting to feel... I don't know why I'm reading this. I mean, this is just a historical recap, and we completely rewrote history. Let's dive into this. We're Catholic. So, I mean, we get tolerance of the true faith +1, tolerance of heretics -1. We can interact with the papacy by using papal influence and try to become papal controller. The Pope can bestow colonial regions once we start to hunt for the New World. We're a monarchy. That kind of just explains that. I'm assuming probably most people who tune in have watched or played EU4. And then that's just the end. Yeah. Okay. That does. I'll narrate this better. So where we ended, we know a little more of the known world than if you were to start in EU4. So there are a couple of unique things about this entire realm. I want to point this out, as I pointed out several times. The supermajority of the world, save parts of the New World and Africa and, of course, India, Middle East, and a couple other places, the supermajority of this alternative history is Catholic. I don't know exactly how the Reformation's going to handle that. Second thing, historically, areas save Russia. The Orthodox areas are Orthodox, and then there's a pretty massive Jewish contingency. I'll get it out at one point. Okay, so what's changed about this world? Well, Byzantium is huge. Egypt is a Catholic kingdom, and in fact, we're of the same dynasty of them, which could produce some interesting things. I mean, right now you can see right here, hey, if we don't produce an heir, we're going to get PU'd by Egypt, which is quite funny. Spain, in and of itself, is just all over the place. We left that pretty fractured. France is pretty stinking fractured. I mean, you can see France. We'll take a look at them. I didn't want to click on Orléans, but France has no legal heir, and they're Burgundy's a vassal. No, I didn't see that coming. But France is maybe in a little better position. Great Britain, which was the Empire of Britannia in CK2, is strong because they've got Norway and they've got all this territory. The Holy Roman Empire, I want to show you this, because they had maximum imperial authority. They're one solid country. I converted just to check things out about 20 years earlier before when I converted, because they didn't have maximum imperial authority. They actually broke up into successor states, but that's not going to happen. This is one homogenous, basically quasi-super Germany, Denmark, with parts of Austria, Italy, and Savoy. I mean, that looks right? Oh yeah, and then they also control territory in like Gascony. So it's crazy. The Byzantines are the Ottomans, for lack of a better term. Them and Protharius, which that's pretty interesting. Mongolia is a thing. We ended with them having some expansion, pretty much creating a pretty big expansive empire. Now what that does to Ming, there's no telling, but Ming may not exist, which is truthfully fine by me. But we're playing as the Wendish Empire, so let's go ahead and get our opening moves and maybe get to a point where we unpause this game as we do our initial setup. So we are the Wendish Empire. We have two vassals. Our vassals are Mazovia and then Greater Poland. At some point we will want to look to integrate them, just kind of as a best practice. We are rival to the Byzantines, Great Britain, and the Holy Roman Empire, which is great. And okay, so they've got beefy rivals. They've got beefy rivals. So the only good thing that I see about this is that it looks like the big boys, which we're one of them, we're pretty hostile. Now, Andalusia, to me, it looks like they're going to be a great natural choice as an ally. And I think we're going to go ahead and open all this stuff up and look to get all that set up, which is smart on our part. So let's go ahead and get these opening moves set up. What do we want to do with y'all? Alright, well, let's see. We can pick up 2 relationships, which I think is pretty smart. Egypt is not a bad one. It's strictly because we could inherit. So let's go ahead and solidify a royal marriage with them. Let's solidify an alliance with Andalusia. And that clears that up. In the meantime, who is a good candidate for expansion? Kazan Lakid. Oh man. So let's break this down. If we want to expand westward, that's most likely going to be a massive knockout drag down war with these guys. Not something that I really want to do. If we want to go south, same thing. Gotta be pretty calculating there. I think honestly our best chance is going after Novgorod and just start building spy network here. Alright, so that ties up that guy. Our merchants right now. We have a merchant that is collecting in the Baltic. I actually think that's not a bad idea. And we're transferring from Kiev into Krakow. And unfortunately, that's the only thing. Yeah, I mean, that's. I think that the game actually set us up in the right in the right what am I trying to say here? In the right nodes. Okay, so we have a pretty sizable army. We're making not a ton of money. That's a little unfortunate. But that's not insurmountable. We'll have to see what happens after we run the game. Okay, well, let's take a look at our Navy. Our Navy, we've got 3 heavies. I mean, we're paying for 3 heavies. It's probably not a bad idea. I guess I'm okay with that right now. I may revisit that. Alright, so we definitely know we want to protect trade in the Baltic Sea. And that'll give us a boost to income from there. We'll set our rivals, which, you know, just for kicks and giggles, will be the Byzantines, Great Britain, and the Holy Roman Empire. We got some unrest. That's not the end-all be-all. Finnish separatist. That's good for them. Actually okay with that. We got tons of money. However, we're just going to hold on to that. And we could probably afford an advisor. So our king is a 326. Military, that's great. I'd probably need to look at Diplo advisors just to check that out. Trade efficiency, spy construction. Yeah, we'll take the trade efficiency guy. And that should... We could probably take another one. We can take an admin guy. Level 2 advisors are going to be a little too costly for us, so we're just going to pick up this guy. And are we ready to unpause the game? I think we are. We probably need to talk long term, do a little bit of game planning. So in terms of ideas, I do think it is in our best interest, because as we expand, we're going to want to look to create vassals. And let me just make sure that there are all these. Okay. Jerusalem. Well, expanding that way could be problematic, as okay, there is Austria. They do exist. And there's Jerusalem. Oh my gosh, this is going to play with my eyes. So there are, I mean, are we really going to vassal swarm? Probably not, since a lot of, well, they have some cores. Wallachia, Transylvania. Yeah, I think, okay, so on to that point that I didn't finish. I do think influence ideas are definitely worth it. Exploration and expansion are very attractive to me, as well as quality ideas. I would love to see us expand overseas. The challenge is we're going to have to find a way to get something. And I mean, it could happen. It's just it's gonna take some careful planning. So I think we let's check our missions. Yeah, I think generic mission tree, nothing special. Yeah, we need to do estates. Okay, that's actually really smart on our part, because I'm just being dumb. Okay, so let's take care of the estates here. Let's actually take a look at the estates. So right now, the burghers have 6%, clergy have 15%, the nobles have 34%. And the nobles are the only group that really kind of worry me about influence. Okay, well, what can we do with the burghers? We could grant monopolistic charters. Got to get their influence up. That would do it. Clergy, we are going to make a generous donation to you, and to these lovely fellows we will call a diet. Ooh, but that's going to push their influence. Do we want to do that? Yeah, I think we do. Pushes it high. So we're going to go ahead and demand the military, demand the admin, and then demand the diplo. That puts us in a little better monarch point situation. And I now think, after roughly 16 minutes of talking about this, we can finally dive into it. So let's go ahead and do this. And for the time being, we'll be playing on speed 4. So we now have a queen consort. Let's take a look at that. We still need to produce an heir. Jasmine. I mean, I hope this doesn't create any inbreeding. We're just going to assume that they're cousins. And we need to wait till December to formalize an alliance with Egypt, and then Royal Mary Andalusia. Byzantines, it looks like, went ahead and popped their golden era. Good for them. Okay, Andalusia. We can go ahead and get that royal marriage. Egypt. Let's formulate. You won't accept an alliance. That's amazing. And you allied with Great Britain. That is unfortunate, because that's a busted slot. So we'll compensate the traders, and the only reason I'd do that is because we actually have the money to do that. Good grief. Good grief. So probably not a bad idea to do this. Go ahead and get our subjects in our pocket, and we can actually improve relations with them, which I think is the right thing to do. Yeah, we're getting some pop-ups. And where's the other one? Right here. I want to keep those, keep the vassals happy. You are allied with Vladimir, who doesn't really scare me one bit. So we want to try to fabricate claims on as much of this stuff as we can, and just continue to expand to the east. Alright, so Lambert Yacuz, he's a controversial protectionist. Since Lambert started providing service for the trade developments in the Wendish Empire, internal trade has been strengthened at the cost of curtailed imports and increased state regulation. While their decisions to improve infrastructure have been appreciated, recent suggestions have caused many influential people to question their philosophy. They argue that the king is taking Lambert's advice too readily, and that we should look for mutual beneficial deals with other nations rather than seeking to dominate every area of trade. I get it. One could argue that that's probably a healthy way to run a country. So we can lose 10 legitimacy, which wouldn't be the end of the world, and get 2 mercantilism. or he can leave our court. I honestly like the mercantilism. All right, let's see from a finance standpoint. So right now, we're making a majority of our money from taxation. I didn't even look at development. I need to look at that too. Trade's not bad though. Let's see how that all married up now that we've let it run a bit. So Krakow's not doing bad. It probably would be in our best interest to spend the money there. And then we don't own that, but is there any other trade node here? I don't think we... can I upgrade that one? Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and pop those. We should see a tick up in income here from 6.4 ducats to something. We'll let it update. Yeah, not a lot, but a little more than what we had. Not terribly bad. I mean, we clearly dominate this. So I can live with that. And we'll just keep making a little bit of money. We need to make more money. Make no bones about that. We need to make a little more money. And in the meantime, what's going on here? What is going on here? So Orléans is their own self, and France is just gonna go ham. Aquitaine, you are a kingdom with Catalonia and Bourbonnais. I believe that's correct. Great Britain has land there. I don't understand this country, but they're just all over the place. Catalonia. Leon, what are you doing? You are not doing anything. Andalusia. Borg. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm laughing about it because of Star Trek, but don't listen to my corny notions. We really need to produce an heir. He is old as dirt. This is a little precarious. Let's be very honest here. He could die, and we're gonna get PU'd by Egypt, which would just be not great. Not great whatsoever. Oh man. It really would be bad. I don't want to like downplay that, but that really would be unfortunate. Hopefully he'll pop out an heir here pretty soon. Okay, what do we have here? Military access. Yeah, sure. No telling what they're up to. I said, hopefully he'll spit out an heir. Two of a kind. Yeah, let's take the admin power. Development, I did mention that. So, in terms of development, Krakow's not bad. In fact, Constantinople's really quite highly developed. So is Tunis, surprisingly. There are some other places that are moderately developed, but by and large, because we didn't play the CK2 playthrough to end, yeah. All right, so two of our most trusted advisors, Helgel and Lambert, have been talking a lot recently, plotting, some say, drafting plans for our future. Others say, people talk. Whatever they're discussing, it's clearly controversial enough to warrant some secrecy. Finally, they approach King Prendoda to present the results. The thick stack of papers contains plans for monumental changes to the nation's trade practices, including increased protectionism, regulation, and industrial policy. Radical, some would say. Necessary, Helgel say, or I think that's Helgel, and profitable. What do we say about this? Well, what do we say about this? We can lose a stab, which... we can get rid of him. You know, I kind of like that. Let's boot them both. Terrible policies. Let's see what we can pick up now. We'll have to wait till we can pick up new advisors. But the one-time 200 monarch point gain, worth every bit of it. Worth every lick of it. Now, like I said, I'm really concerned about this whole personal union thing. Ooh, Great Britain gonna push us around. All right, we'll pick up this guy, and we'll pick up that guy. In terms of taking tech, it'd be awesome to be first and all of that. That really would work out quite nicely. But we'll have to wait and see if that happens. Have to wait and see if it happens. Alright, so naive relative. Let's take the prestige hit. And let's hope to goodness that we don't run into anything. We can go ahead and fabricate claims. We really, God, British. I'm gonna have to systematically dismantle y'all and free Sweden. I mean, that just happens. Let's go ahead and... do we want to fabricate there or there? Well, either or is fine. Although, let's just make sure we're not... let's go ahead and fabricate there. Let's get as pretty much as many claims as we can on them. Because when we fight that war, we want to be able to take as much territory as we can. And then, yeah, we will have to fight Britain. We need to control this. We got a lot of stuff we need to do. I mean, we need an heir. 20% chance. Hopefully this guy does not die. I mean, he's got a young wife. I mean, if we got PU'd by Egypt, it's not the worst thing in the world, as I think we could overthrow their yoke. It definitely would make the game a little more interesting. Ooh. Between Andalusia and Byzantium. Now that would be problematic. Do y'all have the same dynasty as we do? No. There's no way. Is it political? I always forget this. It's the dynastic. Yeah, so that's just not true. God, there's some weird, just weirdo dynasties. Norway, are you still? Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a fun first episode. There will be more to come in this, and this series should be. I hope it's going to be wildly entertaining. I hope it's not wildly frustrating. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. We'll have more action when we come back with the next one. I'll see y'all then.